What up, YouTube? This is Nick, aka Crazy Nick. You may know me from some of my YouTube adventures with Doug DeMiro and friends, but today we're gonna do something a little different. Doing a video on my own channel by myself. Let's see how badly I can screw this up. Testing. That really sucks. That was fucking terrible. I got some big updates, so without much more ado, we're gonna talk about the Murcielago. We're gonna talk about this broken Bentley. We're gonna have some fun today. I got a lot going on, so let's jump right in. But before we jump into all the stuff about the Murcielago and the Bentley, let's talk about Car Week for a second. Now, I know everyone's probably tired of hearing about Car Week and all the rich people flexing off their Lambo doors and whatnot, but I got a little bit different of a perspective, so let's just talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, all right? So the good, the car spotting was epic. Anyone that can should go watch Filippo's video on how to do it cheap or whatever, but MC12s, Ferrari Venice that I saw outside of Doug's Countach, we saw like a dozen plus F50s. We just saw literally anything and everything you can imagine. I think we saw Veyrons, Chirons. Best part, got to drive some other Murcies and meet up with some Murcielago owners. So my friend Blake, he's a cool dude, follow him on Instagram, let me drive his OE manual car. Comparing the OE manual to this, pretty stoked with this conversion. They're very, very similar. The engagement point of the clutch, the feel. My shifter, I feel like was a little smoother than his, but his might have been like slightly out of calibration or, you know, like needs like some WD-40. I don't know, but like they're very comparable. If anything, I slightly preferred mine, but like when you're at Best Buy and you're comparing the two TVs side by side, like they look different, but when you get home, you can't really tell the difference. So felt stoked on that. Have now driven an OE car, a Machina car, and a royalty car, and easy winner. My recommendation is Machina all day, every day. Unless you can afford the OE, then by all means go for it. But in terms of the bad, there really wasn't any. Some of the crowds got a little rowdy with the Revit, and it was always the guys in like Chargers or modded BMWs, but whatever. The cops actually were handing out tickets for those guys. Hopefully everyone behaves themselves and don't get the event shut down, but other than that, it was sick. The costs are also a downside. It's getting more and more expensive every year. I think maybe that is also to try to like not get it overcrowded, but deal with it. It's super fun, especially if you live in California and it's not that far of a drive or a really easy flight. Speaking of flying, we flew up there in a Cessna single prop among all the PJs at the Monterey Jet Center. Absolute Beverly Hillbillies among these Gulfstreams, but had a blast. My friend Kevin is a commercial pilot and he manned the ship with ease. I definitely wasn't scared at all and was really relaxed and comfortable the entire time, but we landed smooth and in one piece, which is the big thing, and got to see some cool stuff along the way like Big Sur and Laguna Seca. But let's get to the main meat of conversation today is my Murcielago. And I love the car. Like I said, the swap is brilliant. I've put 1,200 miles trouble-free on it, but someone saw one of my videos and reached out wanting to buy it. And I kind of told them no, and they kept chasing me, and so I hit them with a ridiculous number to get them to go away. They agreed it was ridiculous, but I'm still getting a check-in. So they have now given me a firm offer at $285,000. I bought the car for $200,000, and with the swap, all the maintenance, etc., I'm in the car about $260,000, $270,000. So what they offered would give me about a $15,000 profit over what I'm into it with everything other than gas, insurance, registration. I just moved it to Cali, which I did so because I thought it was a forever car, but it'd be nice to make some money. And it would also be nice after 3.5 years of this car to try some new things. Maybe a Ferrari, maybe a Mercedes, maybe a McLaren. I don't know. I got a whole long list I'll take you along with the journey on, but a serious offer that I can counter and probably get them up to 300, maybe higher, put some money in the bank and lets me move on to my next thing. So it's got my brain all upside down. I'm really thinking about it, but every time I drive it, I'm also like, man, I'd like to keep this another 6 to 12 months before I make any decision. So I don't know. I'm probably going to text him after this, hit him with the counter at like 325 and see if there's something in the middle. At the right number, it makes sense to move on. Anything short of above market and stupid generous, it probably doesn't. So champagne problems to have, but something that weighs on your brain as a car guy for sure. And that naturally brings us to the next question, which is if I did sell this and get a really good number, what would I replace it with? I'll keep the hoopty train going when I replace the Bentley, but I need like a driver that I can enjoy in the canyons and like long drives and take the cars in coffee, et cetera, et cetera. That's a nicer car. That's not a basket case like this Bentley, not a quirky car like the Multipla, like something that I'm like legit excited to drive every time I get in it. And that car still does it for me, but it's not the only one in the world I can think of. So if I sell this car, let's say 300, and I want a little budget set aside for maintenance when I first get a car, because there's always unknowns, but that opens up the world. There's a lot from, let's say, 100 to 300. So in no particular order, I am very interested in first, two Mercedes. Well, one technically is a Mercedes McLaren, but the SLR I think is super cool. I've seen a few go across the auction block in the mid 200.
Million. Andy's on fire. 250, I'm taking a head. 300.
Oh, you're
300 I think.
God, I raised it before he said the number, and I was like, fuck, I'm on the hook for whatever he says.
No, I'm not taking 10s yet. I'll come back.
He's coming at 350, dude.
300. I'll come back if I don't get 325? 325.
That's
325,000. I'm out. 325.
Just said burn that.
Any more bids? With you, sir. With you. 325. 350 now. 350.
Nick, are you out?
350. Would you like 375?
I'm out. Humanly possible.
400 with RJ. 400,000.
I want to leave the building out.
400,000. Any more bids? Any more bids? All right.
Pedal before the guy even said it. And then he pointed up and said 250. He took a $50,000 increase.
425? I'll take the 10 now. 410.
And so I could replace this with an SLR and probably take a little money off the table. They are known for heartbreaking maintenance repair, but so is this car, and it's been fine. I think it's a little overhyped. I'd maybe try to find a way to swap the brakes to steel brakes, and I'd maybe look into eventually doing a manual swap on that as well. I know people are doing it on Black Series. It's got to be doable. Two, the other Mercedes, that's actually a Mercedes this time, CLK 63 Black Series. Think you can get a nice one for 90. I love, 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 love the way they look, and I would definitely manual swap that. People are doing it. The big problem with that car is the trans. I'd be stoked on that. I'd probably also put an exhaust on it, but otherwise it'd be super killer. It'd be a fun project, and I think I could sell it and recoup the cost of all the mods. So those are two cool options for Mercedes / McLaren. Second train of thought is Ferrari. I've never owned a Ferrari. In fact, I've only driven one Ferrari ever, and that was my friend Sean's 360. With the F1 trans, but after having such great experiences with Machina on this car, I thought, well, what else can they swap? A 575 is pretty cheap, under 100K, and you could swap that and have a gated V12. A 599, if you want to spend a little bit more, has a lot more power and is a lot more fun, and is still well under 200 all said and done. They just sold a already swapped 599 in the mid 150s, which I thought was an absolute steal, and I love the spec. I should have bought it. So 599, a 575. If I really wanted to stretch my budget, a 430 Scud and eventually swap that, I think would take the entire Murcie budget, but holy heck, that would be cool. There's a dude in like Switzerland, I think, who drives the crap out of his, and it's like the most epic Instagram content. I would love to experience that. So bunch of Ferraris that appeal, but the other area that I'm super pumped on, actually got a whole list right here. Vipers are starting to get really interesting. Anything with a V10 or V12, a Gallardo swap could be interesting. I don't know, man. I am all over the place. Let's see what else I wrote down here. LMO02 or Diablo, obviously, I'm all about that. There's really a lot of cool stuff out there. So if I sell this, I can go experience some more cars. I can always get back to one if I want. So that gets us to the last but not least, the Bentley update. Very long story short, and you'll see the whole thing on Cars and Bids. I got an alignment, but the tie rods are seized, so the wheel was not straight. So I thought, oh, I'll just take the wheel off, center it, put it back on, no big deal. I tried that, the clock spring popped like a jack-o'-lantern. So I tried to put it all back together, screwed it up, obviously, and you'd think the hood being open has nothing to do with the clock spring. You'd be wrong. Basically, I think after I put the broken clock spring back on, I turned the wheel too far one direction. It blew either the power steering pump or something in the hydraulic system. So now I'm leaking all over the floor, and the car shuts off immediately because it senses that there's no brakes and that something is terribly, critically wrong. So it's been stuck here now 3 weeks. My mechanic can't get me in because the mechanic shop, there's construction. We're literally gonna have to push this onto a lift, and his entry exit is blocked by the construction. except for one little way, and this is a big, heavy ass car. So I am stuck with a broken Bentley, a perfect Murcie that I might sell, and a Multipla that is currently on a ship, going to be arriving in LA in about a week from when I'm filming this. So a lot going on, a lot to be grateful for, a lot to be stoked on. I am pumped for all of it. So hopefully this week we'll get the Bentley fixed. I'm going to text this guy back and just start negotiating, even though I'm not sure I want to sell it. And then, yep, the Multipla, you will see content about that. So thanks for checking out my first video. Tune in, buckle up, leave me a comment, subscribe, do all the things you're supposed to do or not. I don't really care. Crazy Nick signing out.